A deadly van attack in Toronto has left 10 people dead and 15 injured. The suspect, who is now in custody, is 25-year-old Alec Manassian. A motive has yet to be determined, according to authorities, but the tactics used to carry out the attack bear a striking resemblance to those tactics used by the Islamic State. Manassian drove his van deliberately, according to witnesses, into pedestrians, appearing to purposely kill as many people as possible. But whether or not it was an ISIS-inspired terror attack, it's worth noting that the perpetrator was able to kill 10 people without a gun. So where are liberals' calls for van control? With me now, national security expert Dr. Rebecca Grant. Dr. Grant, good to see you.
Nice to be here.
All right, Dr. Grant, talk to me about the way that the authorities in Canada are handling this, because it seems odd to me, and I choose that word precisely. It seems odd to me that they say they aren't ruling out terror, rather than the idea that this looks exactly like a terror attack being first on their list. There aren't any calls to ban that weapon because it didn't happen to be an AR-15.
Right. We don't see that happening, of course. I think a little bit, too, because it's across the border. And although the Canadians are our close friends and allies, it is across the border. But you're right, Liz. There's something here. Because it didn't have that spark of an AR-15 or a gun, we don't immediately say, oh, we need to ban this, et cetera, et cetera. So I agree. There's maybe a little bit of hypocrisy going on in the way that we've seen this covered and talked about.
Make no mistake, if it had happened in the United States, there would not be calls for van control. There would not be calls to restrict those vehicles the way that there are to restrict guns when similar massacres are carried out. Dr. Grant, I do want to touch on two other topics quickly before we run out of time in the national security realm. The first is the Iran deal. The deadline to re-up, to commit again to being in the Iran deal is coming up. May 12th is when the president has to make a decision what he's going to do about that. We have France, we have Germany, and we have Russia pressuring President Trump to stay in the deal. Why should he stay in the deal at this point?
The problem with the Iran deal is, as Iran reminds us, they could get to a nuclear weapon very quickly if they start enriching with the centrifuges and go to full capacity. Europe says, oh, keep them where they are, plus they like the trade. But I don't see a reason for Trump to stay with this version of the Iran deal. The time is right for him to press for a stronger deal if he stays in, or to threaten to leave and go it alone with enhanced U.S. sanctions on Iran.
Right, and I guess my thing, and I've said this all along about the Iran deal, ever since President Trump took office, I thought he should have ditched it the first opportunity he had. Iran has not kept up their part of the bargain. They have violated it in multiple ways. They have kept more heavy water, which is used, by the way, in the is used to create nuclear weapons. They were caught by German intelligence trying to get materials for nuclear weapons on the black market. They used their commercial passenger airliners to transport weapons and fighters to Syria. They have violated provision after provision, even if it's the small ones, of this deal. President Trump has no obligation to stay in this, especially when they're basically just using it as a shield so that they can keep their nuclear program. Without the United States or Israel attacking them.
And Trump has been very patient. He's given Europe and those in the Senate who want to continue the deal a year to try to work something out. Iran is a terrible bad actor, and what's so horrible about this deal is that they teeter on the edge of a nuclear weapon, and of course it doesn't include anything to restrict their ballistic missile development. And as we know, they carry out terrorist activities. They've threatened and attacked our forces on the ground in Syria. So I see that now, especially with the rhetoric from Iran, they act like they don't even care about the deal. The time is right for Trump and our European partners to agree on some stronger provisions and either make this a deal we can live with or get out.
Right, and I guess I'm on team get out of the deal. I mean, 4 days, if it only takes Iran 4 days to enrich uranium and put a nuclear weapon together, what kind of protection do you think this deal is actually getting you? As if Iran would actually let you know and give you notice of those 4 days if they wanted to start, if they were provoked enough to the sense that they would use that. Ridiculous. Get out of the deal. You have another opportunity, finally. Dr. Grant, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.